Welcome to YouShouldListen.com. All right. Thank you. And thank you again. And welcome back to YouShouldListen.com. There are several things that we're going to discuss, so let's go ahead and get right into it, starting with our agenda. So today we're going to discuss the Republican debate that took place the other night in Detroit at the Fox Theater, hosted by Fox News. It was a rematch of sorts between Megyn Kelly, the Fox News host, and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. We'll also discuss Mitt Romney and his takedown of Trump in the speech that he gave the other day. We'll also discuss Bill Clinton and election laws. Did he break them on Super Tuesday? Will he be arrested? Will he be prosecuted? We'll also discuss Hillary Clinton's IT technician. You know, the gentleman who set up the servers in her house. Some say it was illegal. He was just granted immunity before he testifies. Should Hillary Clinton be worried? All that and more coming up after this brief message. And once again, thank you and welcome to YouShouldListen.com. Okay. Welcome back to YouShouldListen.com. Let's get right into it, folks. The debate the other night. In typical fashion, the Republicans had yet another bloodbath, slugfest, shoot it out, last man standing wins type of ordeal. So it just is an extension and a continuation of what's already been taking place this election cycle between the Republican candidates. It was messy when it was 17 candidates, and it's still messy now that there are down to 4 candidates. Left standing, we currently have Marco Rubio, Senator of Florida, Ted Cruz, Senator of Texas, John Kasich, Governor of Ohio, and Donald Trump, businessman. So let's just go ahead and get into it. There were a few points that actually stood out. And amongst them were questions that were asked of Donald Trump about policy issues, because a lot of folks say that he's very light on policy and that he only says build a wall. No one knows how he's going to build the wall, but he says Mexico's going to pay for it. Mexico say they're not going to pay for it. Donald Trump insists the wall just got 10 feet higher simply because Mexico said they're not going to pay for it. So it's really getting to a point in the cycle where folks really want to know your policy positions. And so they really was coming after Donald Trump about his policy positions because he has not really, fleshed out any details as it relates to actual policies. Now, he may give a lot of sound bites and maybe give a lot of one-liners, build the wall, no illegals, and so on and so forth. But he's not very much detailed when it comes to policy. So they made a point to go after him on policy. And it could have been a hit job. It could be maybe they don't like him at Fox News. Who knows? But the bottom line is they did ask some policy-specific questions. And that's very important. And not just for Donald Trump, but for any candidate, Republican or Democrat. So first up, we're going to go ahead and get into Chris Wallace's questioning on Donald Trump and his policies or lack thereof.
Proposed tax cut would add $10 trillion to the nation's debt over 10 years, even if the economy grows the way that you say it will. You insist that you could make up for a good deal of that, you say, by cutting waste, fraud, and abuse.
Correct.
Like what? And please be specific.
Department of Education, we're cutting Common Core, we're getting rid of Common Core, we're bringing education locally. Department of Environmental Protection, we are going to get rid of it in almost every form. We're going to have little tidbits left, but we're going to take a tremendous amount out. We have various other things. If you look at the IRS, if you look at every every single agency, we can cut it down, and I mean really cut it down and say the waste, fraud, and abuse is massive.
Okay, so there you have it. Donald Trump says he's going to cut a couple agencies, Department of Education, the EPA, waste, fraud, and abuse. That was his policy answer to the question that Chris Wallace levied against him. And it appeared to me that Chris Wallace was not satisfied with Mr. Trump's response, and maybe a lot of folks weren't either, because if one asks you a policy question, you would anticipate hearing some specific policies. And, you know, Trump, he replied and said he's going to cut 2 government agencies. So Chris Wallace had a follow-up for Mr. Trump, and I'll play that for you now.
Your numbers don't add up. Please put up full screen number 4. The Education Department, you talk about cutting. The total budget for the Education Department is $78 billion, and that includes Pell Grants for low-income students and aid to states for special education. I assume you wouldn't cut those things. The entire budget for the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, $8 billion.
Okay.
The deficit this year is $544 billion. That's more than $500 billion. Your numbers don't add up.
Let me explain something.
Okay, so there you have it. And that was very much the tone and tenor of the debate that evening. Chris Wallace asked some specific policy questions. Trump followed up in typical Trump fashion, very light on policy. And then Chris Wallace hit him back with facts. He had screens, he had numbers, he had, you know, concrete evidence that shows Mr. Trump's, according to Chris Wallace, numbers don't add up. So that was just one of the exchanges of many. There was also another exchange that actually stood out for me during the debate, because Donald Trump, he talks a lot about polls. And a lot of the candidates, they talk a lot about polls. Polls are very important to candidates because it sort of gives you a temperature of a barometer, a meter, a reading of, you know, what pollers are talking to the voters about, and what the voters, their responses are as it relates to policy issues or candidates that they'll vote for or likely to vote for. So polls are very important in the political process, but they aren't the most important. But it appears to Donald Trump that they are very, very important. So I'm just going to play you this quick little back and forth, if you will, that they had on polls. So let's go ahead and get into that. Here we go.
Very nice words, but happens to be wrong. CNN just came out with a poll 2 days ago. A national poll, excuse me, a national poll where he's at 15, he's at 14, and I'm at 49. So when he says 75%, that would mean that 80% of the people don't dig you, and I'm back down to 50.
Of all the people on the stage, he performs the worst against Hillary Clinton.
Wrong. I beat Hillary Clinton. I beat Hillary Clinton in many polls. I beat Hillary Clinton in many polls.
If you're our nominee,
Excuse me, I think I'm talking.
Hold on.
well, excuse me.
I beat Hillary Clinton in many
Hold on.
I hope you can.
The audience cannot understand when you're talking over each other. Finish your point, Mr. Trump.
I beat Hillary Clinton in many polls. The Q poll just came out. I beat Hillary Clinton in a recent Fox poll. I beat Hillary Clinton in USA Today. I beat her today in a poll in Ohio. I'm the only one that beats Hillary Clinton. I beat her, and I have not started on Hillary yet. Believe me, I will start soon. I haven't even started.
All right, so there you have it. Again, another instance of, it appears, just bombastic, chest-thumping, boys club type of behavior exhibited by the Republicans. And it's really unfortunate because while it may be entertaining, funny, maybe even fun to watch and to laugh at some point you have to scratch your head and wonder, do they want the voter to take them serious? They are running for the highest office in the land, the President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief, all right, the leader of the free world. And we're left with candidates who just are on stage fighting one another and debating about who's number one or who's number two against Hillary Clinton. And it goes on and on. Marco Rubio, he was questioned about why he was attacking Donald Trump as of late. And Marco Rubio had a few words to say about why he was attacking Donald Trump. And before I play you that, I just want to say that I believe Marco Rubio is attacking Donald Trump because he's trying to claw his way back into the debate, claw his way back into the, mainstream, into the top one or two. He hasn't won any states except for one out of the last 15, and he won Minnesota. So he's really struggling. So he has no choice at this point, in my opinion, but to go into attack mode. But he always vowed that he wouldn't go on attack mode. So I'll just play you this little question and answering session between the host, moderator of the debate, and Marco Rubio on why he's going into attack mode.
Senator Rubio, 3 weeks ago, you said, quote, "I don't do the personal attacks, primarily because it's not who I am, because I think it's beneath the office that I'm seeking, but also because I don't want to embarrass my kids. But in the past week, you've mocked Mr. Trump's tan. You've made fun of his spelling. You called him a con artist. You suggested he wet himself backstage at the last debate, along with other vulgar jokes and jabs. So what happened?"
Yeah, Brett.
Right. So essentially, as I was explaining to you folks, Marco Rubio always maintained that he'd never attack and he'd always be positive and keep the election campaign about the issues and policies. But folks are starting to scratch their head like, what happened? And I tell you folks, he's dwindling and having no effect at all. He's always last in every single contest. He's polling really low, so he has to attack. He has to try to make himself become relevant again and try to catch some sort of traction. And they asked him, Marco, what happened? And here's Marco Rubio's answer to why he's been attacking lately.
Yeah, Brett, let me say something. This campaign for the last year, Donald Trump has basically mocked everybody with personal attacks. He's done so to people that are sitting on the stage today. He's done so about people that are disabled. He's done it about every other candidate in this race. So if there's anyone who's ever deserved to be attacked that way, it's been Donald Trump for the way he's treated people in the last campaign.
Okay, so his answer essentially is, well, Donald Trump has been attacking everyone, so it's about time that someone attacked him back. Now, okay, you can have your opinion on either side of that answer, but if you're going to make any type of impact, you don't wait to the 11th debate. You don't wait until you lose 14 states in a row. You don't wait until you're polling so low that no one is really paying attention to you anymore. You don't wait this long. What you do, you engage the other candidates in a meaningful way. It could be policy based early on. And unfortunately, early on, Marco Rubio failed to do such things, and now he's resorting to attacks. And it's unfortunate for him because this may be the coup de grace if he does not win Florida, his home state, which he is senator of, when they vote next week. So we're going to get into Donald Trump's response really quick on Marco Rubio and his attacks.
Also happened to call him a lightweight, okay, and I have said that, so I would like to take that back. He's really not that much of a lightweight. And as far as, and I have to say this, he hit my hands. Nobody has ever hit my hands. I've never heard of this one. Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it. Okay.
Okay, folks, so now we're talking about and making references to hands and other things that are really, really beneath the office of the presidency of the United States of America. And it's really beneath any candidate who wants to be taken seriously. And it's really beneath the American public in general when it comes to our elected officials. It's just really beneath everything that we stand for, or that we should stand for, when it comes to the nominating process and ultimately electing any elected official, especially the President of the United States of America. I'll let you infer what you will as to what the suggestions are that are being made when they're talking about hands and things being small. I'm not going to go there. We're going to move on. So next we're going to discuss Mitt Romney. Now, Mitt Romney, he made a speech earlier this week trying to take down Donald Trump. He labeled him a phony and a fraud. He talked about his failed businesses. He said, what happened to you being such a great businessman? What happened to Trump Vodka, Trump Steaks, Trump Airlines, Trump Mortgage, and Trump University, among other failed businesses that Mitt Romney alleges Donald Trump was a part of. And he laid out a pretty sound speech. The only problem is Mitt Romney, for whatever reason, he does not have the chutzpah. He has no backbone. He has no real commanding way about himself. He just went up there and recited a speech. He did not enunciate properly, in my opinion. He did not make emphasis. He did not do the things necessary to deliver a powerful message. He didn't do that. He went up there, he read a speech, and he walked off it. Again, it's just going to be another instance where someone challenges Donald Trump, and Donald Trump rolls right over him. So while I applaud Mitt Romney for wanting his voice to be heard and to be a part of this process, but unfortunately, Mitt Romney, I believe, is going to go to mostly deaf ears, and those that did listen, they're not going to be listening to you for long if you, continue the way you are currently. So moving right along to Bill Clinton. Now, the other day we had Super Tuesday, and basically, again, Super Tuesday is just a day in March where a lot of states vote, and at the same time, a lot of delegates are up for grabs. But Bill Clinton, he did something that a lot of folks believe breaks the law, and a lot of folks are upset about what he did. Now, Bill Clinton, the other day on Super Tuesday, he went to some polling locations, and he was greeting pollers, he was greeting voters, he was shaking hands, he had the mayor with him, he's taking pictures with the mayor. In one instance, he took a picture with the mayor and a man holding a Democratic ballot inside of the gymnasium in West Roxbury. And a lot of folks are saying, you know what, how is he campaigning at these polling locations? That's against the law. A lot of folks were really upset about that because you cannot solicit votes or campaign at polling locations. Now, in Massachusetts, where it's happened, election laws prohibits any person from distributing campaign material intended to influence the vote of a voter in the ongoing election. You cannot be within 150 feet of a polling location. In addition to that, no person shall solicit votes for or against or otherwise promote or oppose any person or political party or position on a ballot question to be voted on the current election. So essentially, you got to stay the hell away from these polling locations, Bill Clinton, because it looks as if you're out there campaigning for your wife, Hillary, and that's against the law. And, a lot of folks have questions about the Clintons and how they ride the needle really closely. The thread is really, really close to them borderline breaking the law, but somehow they always end up unscathed. You can make of what you will about what he did, but it's just a fact. That's what he did. He was out there, he had a megahorn, and he was stumping for his wife at polling locations and shaking hands, and that's against the law. And just to follow up on that, if you go over to change.org, there's arrest and prosecute Bill Clinton for violation of Massachusetts election laws petition that is currently going on. And get this, folks, they currently have 106,950 supporters. They only need 43,050 more supporters before they reach 150,000. And I believe once they reach 150,000, something else happens. I think maybe they can take it to a prosecutor or something like that. But just think about that for a second. You have over 106,000 people currently, and this is just since Tuesday, currently, who are petitioning to have Bill Clinton arrested and prosecuted for violation of voter laws. So I just thought I'd let you know that, and I'll leave that with you. That's something you could think about. Next up, we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton's IT technician. All right, there's this guy that worked for Hillary Clinton, right? Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is an ongoing issue for Hillary that she has yet to really address. Now, a guy by the name of Brian Pagliano, he was granted full immunity by a federal judge, all right, in order for him to testify as to what exactly went on in Hillary Clinton's residence as it relates to personal email servers and her, and whether or not she exchanged or sent or received classified information illegally. And when you're the guy that actually set it up, the guy that's responsible for it actually happening, when he gets immunity granted to him before he testifies, that may be reason to raise the flag. Should she be terrified? We don't know yet. But so I'm saying that Hillary Clinton should be testified. And this is going to be very interesting because, as I said before, this has been an ongoing issue for her, these emails and these email servers. Was it illegal what she did? What information was exchanged? And it's like it's a slow drip. You ever have a water faucet that had like a slow drip? This is like a slow drip for her. And it's filling that sink up. And that sink is going to run over at some point, and she's going to have to answer some serious questions. And right now, it looks like it's still heading in that direction. And we just have to stand by and wait and see what happened. But I just thought I'll leave you with that little bit of information as well, because it's definitely worth noted that when a guy who worked for you, who did your deeds, as it relates to setting up email servers in your house, whether it was legal or illegal, we don't know yet. But we will know soon, and we will know information soon that she exchanged, and every facet and every detail of it, because he's going to testify. Now, will this testimony be made public? We don't know that yet either, but I'll stay close to the story and make sure I bring you the latest and the greatest to make sure that you stay on top of what's going on right now as it relates to politics. So, this is yousolicit.com. I thank you for joining me today. I hope you continue to join me. And thank you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.